Rap sheet, Jamar Chase came out and said the NFL ball is a little harder to catch than the NCAA ball. We saw him struggle a little early, but has he come on as of late, or is he still having some problems with the playbook and such?
I think it's more just, I don't know about the playbook. I think it's more just honestly catching the ball. And he's not wrong, by the way. The NFL ball is a little slicker. I just have not heard a receiver come out and say, like, I've not heard anyone come out and say it like that. Now, he is a great talent. So my sense is he's going to be fine, and I'll probably be talking to Bengals people later in the week to kind of hone in on this a little bit, because it is interesting. Like, I can't remember a situation where a top pick had a preseason like this. Like, again, I think he's going to be fine, but it's alarming or noteworthy or somewhere in between. Like, he was supposed to be a very sure thing after the preseason he had, and I didn't get the sense it got any better late. So a lot of eyes are going to be on him in game one. I will say that. A lot of eyes.
You got a jugs machine over there?
We don't have a jugs machine, but we got a bounce back. So I could just fire it into the bounce back.
Is that's with the baseball?
Yeah,
in
lacrosse.
In lacrosse you do that? Mm-hmm. You saying, the NFL football is much more difficult to catch than college ball is one of my favorite things you have ever said, by the way.
Well,
I just want to let you know. The authority on catching footballs.
I have so many balls. Wilson sends me a new ball which I love. Wilson, good job, guys.
Hey, shout out Wilson. Wilson.
Come on. Here we go.
Oh, he's in shorts.
I got this from my backdrop.
Ooh.
Wow. That does look slick.
You need to scuff it up.
Yeah, that ball would never see the field. Gotta scuff that thing up.
I need to put it in the dryer or something. Are you allowed to put it in the dryer still?
So actually, that's Mitch Berger allegedly did that, right? Because abuse led to restriction. So the K balls were their own separate balls for a long time, and guys were able to do whatever they wanted to them. And I think the story goes, I don't think I've ever actually looked into it. You could probably find out this much quicker than me. Mitch Berger did have it in the sauna, then in the dryer, then in the sauna, then in the dryer, and that thing became an Aussie rules football, basically. And somehow that ball got put in, and Brett Favre ended up throwing a pick because he was throwing like a watermelon, basically. And then the K ball rule came in the next year, because if it wasn't Brett Favre, it was another big quarterback, was like, I don't know what that was not a football that I threw. And then the K ball rule came into effect where it had to be brand new balls for every kicker, and then now there's 30 minutes you're allowed to work with them, and that became an entire thing. What I'm saying is, I like that you are the authority on what ball is better to catch and what isn't. I absolutely love it. Yeah. For me, actually, my hand size, NFL ball was much easier for me to catch than a college ball.
Really?
Yeah, but sometimes the college balls are a little bit.
Why is that?
I just think like the size was just like, and also I think I hit the jugs machine a lot more in the NFL than I did in college, so it just became something where I was just like catching balls every single time. But like, I just think the sizing was right for me. College balls, though, there's not as many rules on the deflation or the inflation of the ball. I'm not saying Joe Burrow was a guy that maybe liked it a little bit lighter or whatever, but I think college balls have a much more likely chance of because there's been a couple of times where I went out onto a field in college football and I felt the ball and I was like, oh, this is the worst ball to kick in the history of the world. Pat, I hope you can throw the shit out of this thing. Like, I'm really happy for you. What's going on with Jamar Chase and Joey Burrow over there? You hearing anything?
Mental. It's obviously a mental thing. Like, you can do jugs all you want, but it's like the yips. I feel like putting. He needs to find a way to make a catch early in his first game and just put this thing behind him. Like, just, I don't know, go out and do what he can do.
So Joey Burrow obviously is the reason why Jamar Chase was brought in. Their connection 2 years ago, Jamar didn't play last year, was beautiful and led to a national championship, led to Jamar being obviously top 10 pick or whatever it was. The thought, though, that Joey might have to look at him and say, hey, listen, okay, we're going to need you to catch fucking football, pal. Like, would Joey do that, you think? Is that something that Joey
Probably. Doesn't it seem like Joe Burrow is that kind of guy? But it's already been so difficult, I feel like, for Chase. And I live in Ohio, so I've seen a little more of it, I feel like, his drops.
Oh, so it's been bad over there?
Yeah, people like talk about it. They're worried, but it's every drop that you continue to have has to be like, it just piles on top of you. You got to find a way to get away from it and just make some catches. But yeah, I think at this point it's completely mental.
So for me, like, I didn't even want to see another punter or holder drop a ball. Like, if I saw, even in the game we were playing, and I'm on the sideline, I'm watching the other punter, and there's a bobble, I'm like, oh, no. Like I was even like, don't even look at it, don't even see that, don't even think about that. And if I was to even drop a snap, like in practice, 1,000% all I'm thinking about when I'm going on the field is like, all right, catch the ball. And once you start worrying about just catching the ball, then guess what you're not thinking about is all the other shit that you have to do.
Where to run your route, like you got to read your route as like there's sometimes when you have some freedom in the route to break it one way or the other. All of those little things, like you're not thinking about that. You're just like, man, if the ball comes my way, I have to catch it because if you drop the first one, that's rough.
Well, and also, let's hope though, and we're a pretty optimistic show, I think. Just like when you're shooting hoops, you put one in. Right? You put one in, it kind of takes the top off. Yeah. And then maybe you kind of get in there. Foxy did that to me yesterday. Kid went 0 for 10. Okay? Nice. He let somebody else eat some points up, get knocked out, and then he didn't miss ever again. And it was like, son of a bitch. I should have got him whenever he was in the middle of his I can't shoot a basketball phase, which changed with one shot. All it takes is one shot to kind of get over that thing. Let's hope that Jamar Chase is just one sick, nasty catch or just a standard catch away from being like, oh, this is why I'm the guy. I did not know it was this big of a deal, though.
No. I had no idea. Emphasize enough, too. He's probably not used to walking 2 miles to the practice field and expelling that much energy before practice starts.
Yeah, it's hard to open a map and like read where you have to walk to.
Exactly.
Because he can't do it on his phone because everything's on top of each other, so the blue dot it doesn't
it's all
know.
Messed up.
So he's fucking Christopher Columbus with these maps. Then he has to worry about also catching a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, build an indoor facility. This Jamar Chase drops problem isn't existent, I don't think. Joey B will get him right, though. I think the Bengals are going to be much better than they were last year. They have to be. I think Zach Taylor said.
Yeah.